Ignite to Impact.
You're listening to Ignite to Impact, a podcast to inspire you to make positive, meaningful change in your life and in the lives of others. I'm Dr. Geneva, leadership strategist, author, and the vibrant life architect, helping women design their best life. I'm sitting down with influencers to find out how they do what they do to make an impact. Today, Karen Taylor Bass is my guest. She's the founder and media strategist for TaylorMade Media. But she has a long list of accomplishments, doing so many fabulous things. And she's branching out into some new ventures. So we're going to have a great conversation with her. She started out as a fundraiser, working for the United Negro College Fund and the United Way of New York City. And so she's learned how to hone her communication skills. And that's great because she's created memorable consumer youth campaigns and brand experiences for a host of rock stars and great folks. And today, she also is bringing on some new and exciting things into her life. And we're going to learn all about that. How you doing, Karen Taylor Bass?
Well, hello, Dr. Geneva. I am blessed. I am well. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am ready to ignite to impact.
That's right. And I want all my listeners to know that I was on Karen's show a couple of weeks ago and had a phenomenal time. And
you dropped some science.
Oh, did I do?
They got to go to Karen. KarenTaylorBass.com/podcast. Oh, listen to your Dr. Geneva talk about self-care mastery. The one and only.
Thank you so much. And it was an amazing experience. And you really turned me on in terms of digging deep and talking about self-care. And how did you get that skill to be able to bring out the best in people so they can tell their story?
Wow. First of all, thank you for that compliment. I received that. Yeah, it's a skill, right? And it's a gift. I believe that's how I look at it. And it's just been on this journey. Started out, like you said in the intro, in fundraising, from fundraising to doing public relations. So all those have to do with people, meeting them where they are, connecting with them where they are, not on pretense, but on authenticity. And throughout my journey, I've had to listen more than talk. And based upon the listening is when I'm able to go to my clients and say, you know what, have you thought of this? And make sure that it's always a collaboration, because no person, woman, man, or child wants to ever be told what to do. But when you couch it in a certain way, that it's a partnership, they begin to have an active interest and stake at it or in it. And so I think that's where it's come. It's just a journey of people watching and people listening.
And how did you learn those listening and people watching skills? Because it is a skill. It's something that you acquire, taught it, or through experience. Was it part of your growing up, your childhood experience? How did you learn to be a great listener?
Oh, well, I'm Caribbean. I was born in Jamaica, and I came to this country in 1973.
Okay.
And all I remember my mom, my grandparents, my aunties, and my uncles telling me is children are seen and not heard. So, I literally have to listen.
Okay, so you had to listen. I love it. And so did you learn a lot through that listening growing up?
I sure did. I learned all the secret sauce. I learned what people like, what they didn't like, how to behave, how not to behave, what pissed some people off, what made them happy. And so, experience is the best teacher. So you learn that. And then as you move around the world on this journey, you remember things from childhood, from the foundation, from those years. formative years when you are taught something. And so that's why it's important what you pour into people. It really does stay with them. And so I don't know if I would, being a mom now, I don't tell my kids that because I think that can also, hinder their development or just their confidence. But back then, people did what they thought was best. But yeah, listening is something that we had to do as kids growing up more so than anything. And also, as a child, you would sneak and listen, right? You would, tiptoe and try to listen to what the grown-ups were doing.
That's right.
And so doing what I do, PR, I kind of feel like I'm tiptoeing a lot because I'm always trying to find out what my client wants, but in a way that I can extract it from them. Is always observing them and more than them communicating with me until they feel comfortable. So I guess watching is really important, and it's a skill that going to school for what I do, I went to St. John's University. Shout out to the Red Storm. Woo-hoo!
Okay.
And just listening and watching. I mean, body language and actions is really what really tells where a person is, what they want, what they've gone through, better than anything you could read on paper.
So when did you know as a young girl growing up, listening, watching, learning those skills, having those experiences, did you know that you were going to be a communicator, brand maker excellence? Did you have that? Did you see it back then, or what happened that got you on this path?
Oh, I think it's just a series of things. Like with anyone else, you do what you love. You do what comes natural. When I was a kid, I just remember always, even at a young age, always being the organizer. If kids were older than me or younger than me, I would always have the art form or gift of just helping them settle down, calm down. And also, I am the oldest of three, so always being that leader, always making sure that, everybody has what they want. And so that's a gift and a curse at the same time. But just doing that, and then I'm just trying to think, just always wanting, I guess always craving attention. Think about it. Always craving attention and being the center of attention it makes you want to master. So I think performers, no matter what you do in life, whether you are a skilled doctor or lawyer, you are a communication expert, a publicist, a fundraiser, a chef, whatever it is that you do in life, you're always craving that spotlight. And how you do the spotlight, whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the camera, is mastery. And so I just learned that where do you get your applause, right? Is it baking that cake? Like, what is it that gives you that attention, that like ta-da moment? And for me, it was honestly using my oratory skills, but also using my communication skills to craft campaigns. Even when I was at United Way, being able to go talk to people to have them donate. I worked in the Health and Hospital Corporation. That was my division to fundraise. And I was able to make my speeches from doctors to janitors to housekeepers to maintenance workers. But I was able to connect with them because I know that the heart of who we are, we want to be loved and we want somebody to care about us. And once you understand what it is that makes someone operate, what is their modus operandi, you're able to connect with them. And I think throughout my journey, I've just been able to hone in on what people don't see about the other person. I'm not a fortune teller, but as a communicator, you're able to see things from watching and observing. So I think it's just been throughout my whole entire life, just observing and keying in on people, especially those who are aloof or those who don't like to communicate. And most entertainers, which I've spent a lot of my time working with, they're very shy when the lights are off, right? When nobody's watching. And so just observing and just trying to see what it is that makes them tick has afforded me the opportunity to tell their story.
So as you work with people like And you look at your list like Stevie Wonder and Mariah Carey and Herbie Hancock and Jill Scott.
Legends, right?
Yes. What did you see that they couldn't see as you worked with people like that?
Well, they all need different things, and that's the first rule of being a good communicator and a good strategist, is you realize that it's not a blanket. It's not a one-size-fits-all. My corporate clients, my celebrity clients, my small business entrepreneurial clients, they all need different things. And so, and also respect. I think that's a big thing. Like when I work with the legends you mentioned, I never walk in saying, well, hello, Stevie, hello, Mariah, hello, Herbie.
Uh-huh.
It's always from a respect, introductory point from the beginning to the end. I'm always calling them by their last names. Even when they say, no, we're working together, I never do that. And I think that's the first thing that makes you connect with someone when they're able to see that you respect their craft, you respect their age, you just respect them. And I think that's a lost art form also. So that's the first thing with connecting with them, is making them know that I respect them. The second thing is they've already accomplished amazing things without me. They're already prodigies and geniuses, so they don't really need me. But what is it that they want to convey that maybe I'm able to help them convey it in a different way that they haven't yet conveyed it to their audience? Or maybe if they want to be introduced or grow their fan base. Mm-hmm. So I don't look at it as, here I am with all the answers. I look at it as, let them talk and tell me where they want to go. And then together we can create the plan to grow their fan base, grow their business, grow their brand, grow their message. That's how I look at every person that I interface with. Mm-hmm. But I always call them by their names. Like, I've never called you Geneva. It's always been Dr. Geneva.
That's right.
Or, I'm working with someone right now, and she says, no, call me by my first name. But I wasn't raised that way. Unless you tell me, unless you're my age, my peer, age to age, that's one thing. But when you've put time on this planet, you get that respect.
All right. And again, it seems as you work with these celebrities, again, you're pulling in your listening and your people watching skills, which have been so important. And then you've been featured lots of times on Dr. Oz, CNN, BET, Fox TV, and Essence. And you've been talking about PR and things. So I want you to share with us, what do you talk about when you are featured in all of these media outlets?
The number one thing I talk about the most is how entrepreneurs can monetize their brand, or how entrepreneurs, because that's the space that I've been in now for a very long time. Since my daughter is now 12, so a long time. From entertainment now to on this journey with working with entrepreneurs and corporations. So just how they can monetize, how they can grow their fan base, also how the importance of not trying to be, jack of all trades. And how using public relations, people don't realize that PR is an art form. It's a gift. We pay for advertisement when you want to advertise on a billboard or on a commercial. But public relations, you don't pay for. It is something that, working with people, your publicist or your strategist create that campaign, and then through that they find a message that resonates with people that they're able to pitch to media outlets, whether national, international, global, local, or regional, or digital, so that you're able to be seen and able to have a digital footprint. So I usually talk about how people can promote themselves on a shoestring budget, because real talk, most people don't have the money to pay for my skill set, right? But perhaps I can teach them the template on something that they can do to master it, and then duplicate the results. So when they get to a certain point, making certain amount, they can employ me to take them to the next level. So it might be how to create a masterful press release that people will pick up on. Maybe it's how to couch talking points. Perhaps it's how to prepare you for a pitch meeting or a meeting with, a possible investor. Or maybe it's how you're going to take your side hustle and be able to pivot it into a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that, where you can teach people, the everyday person, how to master that. So, when I talk to Entrepreneur Magazine, it's how entrepreneurs can level up on a shoestring budget. Mm-hmm. I've written books on that, and so forth, and articles. So it's mainly how you can take what you have, but double that in 30 days.
Mm-hmm. And what's the reaction like? So let's say you're talking to an entrepreneur and entrepreneurs, and I know you have the opportunity to, just touch so many people, so many different groups. What do they usually say back to you when you give them advice and tips on how to do something on a shoestring budget? Do you find, for example, entrepreneurs receptive? Do they still find it as a challenge? How do they react to using PR and the PR skills in their business? Because so many times entrepreneurs, they do everything. They're cook and chief bottle washer, and they do the payroll. They're out there on the promoting the stage, and they oftentimes say, "Well, I really don't have time for that." What do you find people say to you?
That's such a great question. So back to our original question, the start of the conversation about foundation. You're able to read and understand people and know, right? Mm-hmm. So I know immediately when I'm talking to someone, whether it be on the phone or in person, how I'm connecting with them. I generally connect with them, but I know if I'm either going to close the deal or not instantly.
Okay.
So there are three types of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
There are those who are really ready, and they believe in their vision, and they have access to capital to invest in their vision. They don't want to do everything because they've realized that that's not their specialty. So that entrepreneur is ready for success. Mm-hmm. Okay? The second entrepreneur is always going to be on the fence. There's always something more pressing. There's always something that should have happened. That's the excuse entrepreneur. Even if you made it free, they would find an excuse not to do it because they're on the fence, because they don't believe in their vision as much as you believe in their vision. Mm-hmm. The third entrepreneur is going to be the person that feels like, oh, you're going to give me this information, I'm going to take it, I'm going to run with it, and then I'm going to burn out. They're going to burn out because they never learned how to do it the right way, correctly. So that person's ready for the quick hit. And what happens with quick hit? Quick hits fizzle real fast, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they may see success right away, what perceived success, but they never have things to back it up. They don't have the equity to back it up because they haven't invested in their business or their brand. They're still on a Facebook account. They haven't yet leveled up to maybe getting a domain name or anything. Mm-hmm. So you kind of understand that kind of person is your vampire. They just want to suck all the information from you, and then they want to use it, but they'll never use it the right way because they didn't take the time to invest in you or in themselves. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what type of entrepreneur do you work with?
I work with the person that has the vision to understand. They're the first one that I talked about. They're ready. They understand that they can't do everything, and that doing everything doesn't equal mastery. Also, that they have a brand that they want to put out there, and this is their expertise. Maybe they dabble in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's not their expertise. They have the access. They're ready to go. They're ready to invest in themselves because they want to see this come to fruition, but they also want to understand, how can I take this vision, this passion, this brand, and become a household name? How can I set up generational wealth? That's the person that I'm working with. It doesn't mean that they have everything together. Maybe they're on a payment plan. Maybe they're on a situation that we set up. But they believe in themselves. And once you believe in your vision and your craft, I want to work with you because now I believe in you.
So you have that energy and interest and desire and passion to help someone who already has discovered it in themselves.
Right, because you that's the one thing about fire and desire and passion, but it takes more than passion. I always say passion will fuel you, but it won't keep you. So it is you knowing that what you have to give to the marketplace is an actual idea. It's a solution. I like to work with people who can solve a problem, because once you can solve a problem, you could always, always, always make that problem more better. You could improve it. You can always add a secret sauce to it. If you think about your favorite product, say it is Downy. I don't know why, but I'm thinking about Saturday. It's washing clothes.
All right.
But think it's a fabric softener.
Yes.
So the fabric softener is introduced to the marketplace. The fabric softener sells what it's going to sell. But then it kind of tables, right? It peters off, right? It's not making as much as it is before. It's not selling. If people are saying, there's another one on the marketplace that is cheaper. Maybe it has lavender and this one doesn't have lavender. So what does the Downy softener do? It becomes new and improved.
Right.
It adds something to it that you didn't have before. So maybe it's adding lavender, but maybe it's also adding organic, right? Now it's organic and it has lavender. So it's organic with an essential oil, not a chemical.
Okay.
And so it's in the marketplace. It's selling. It's outselling its competitor. And so what happens next? Now, not only is it new and improved and it's organic with an essential oil, now it is sustainability. Now it's giving back to other communities to show them how they can become new and improved and how they can sustain what they're doing. So whatever we're doing with a product, when you work with someone, you want to see growth in that product. Because the more you can grow something, longer the relationship, the campaign, the durability, the sustainability, but also the relationship with not only you, but with the consumer. And that's what you want when you work with someone. You don't want, it's like dating. You don't want to go on one date. You want to end up with the ring.
That's right. As long as, he
as long as this person is the right person, yoked for you.
All right. Absolutely.
Let me just put that out there.
Yes.
And sometimes even when you get the ring, it doesn't mean it's not going to end up in a separation or in a divorce, but maybe it was for a season. And now you could take that product and make that product even more better.
Yes.
Now it's fresher and new improved with brand new eyes.
Yes. And speaking of seasons, and as the seasons change and we go into new seasons and new chapters, I understand you've added a whole new set of skills, experiences, and talent to your portfolio. Why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, my God, Dr. Geneva. Super, super, super excited about this adventure, this new pivot, this new journey. And I say adventure because I do feel like that. I get that yearning in the morning, that fresh step, that yawn.
Yes.
The eyes, that bewilderment. I am going to be a certified, if I can say that, yay, on June 10th, yoga instructor, 200 hours in pranayama, breathwork, meditation, but also vinyasa and hatha yoga, which is the core foundation of yoga. So it's my master class is literally on a thesis on Black women in trauma and how yoga heals. How, 1 in 4 of us walking around have PTSD. PTSD is often thought of as a war veteran or somebody who has gone through unfortunate sexual violence act or something like that. But unfortunately, PTSD could be from your childhood, PTSD from seeing something reoccurring all the time and never really taking care of it. And what we learn is through yoga, through breathing, through movement, to allowing things that's been dormant and trapped in the body, when you move it through, it flows.
Yes.
It flows through the body. It flows through the lymph node. And so we're able to start healing ourselves, healing our core, our heart, our center, our foundation, our root. And so that's my journey. I started doing yoga at 40 years old. My daughter was born. And at 52, now, in a few months, I will actually be certified to be able to take this and be able to not only heal myself, because healing starts within first, before you're able to give it to other people, it's a journey, but also tap into the skill set I have of seeing and meeting people where they are and helping them just be able to be at one, be able to see themselves. You know, we don't see ourselves. People don't see us, especially being black women. We're often not seen. We're often just objectified. So wouldn't it be amazing if you can see yourself, and then once you see yourself, you're able to break routines and habits that no longer serve you in this chapter. So that's my my mission. That is my journey, and that is my what I'm ordained to do.
Yes,
next.
and
Still doing PR.
Yeah, and
being that PR yogi.
Well, how did you make that pivot?
How much time we have now?
We're winding down, but you know how you made that pivot. You know, so on one hand, you got the PR, the brand, you're a brand expert strategist, and now you're pivoting into yoga and meditation and helping black women deal with trauma and stress.
Right. So
tell me about that pivot.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Tell me about that pivot.
So the pivot is basically you can only pivot once you have come to a spot, a place in your life where it no longer serves you, right? Where you've outgrown that. And so for me, I have outgrown many things. But one of the things from being a publicist, being a strategist, you know, we always laugh as publicists saying that we are more therapists than anything else. Because in order for us to get that person to do what they're supposed to do, in order for us to have that person understand why it's beneficial to them, we literally have to be their therapist. We definitely have to help them breathe, calm them down. And so that's something that you learn on the job. And that's something that you do on the job. You say, you know what, let's just breathe it through. Let's pray it. Let's pray it through. You know, let's bring prayer into this. Those are the things that we do because of our culture, because of who we are, and because of it's innate in us. But I remember I had my daughter at 40 years old, like I mentioned. I had postpartum. I had really bad postpartum, where for 2 years, literally, I was just like immobilized. I just really couldn't do anything. I felt in a certain way that I wasn't paralyzed physically, but kind of felt like I was. Because of the postpartum, I had 2 blood transfusions during my delivery. I had a whole lot of trauma giving birth. A lot of black women, now it's, you know, we hear more about it from high-profile celebrities like Serena Williams, but I had one of those kind of births where it was life and death. And because of that, it left me traumatized. And so I had to heal myself back through therapy, through many things. I never did medication. The route I decided to do was therapy and yoga. So I was introduced through yoga, and that's what helped me heal. So through this journey of 12 years, I decided January of this year that I was ready to take it up a notch and pivot to bring it to other people because it had helped me. And so that's how I got to this journey where I am now, is because I've been using it for 12 years to get back on track.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I know I said pivot, you used the word pivot, but as I'm listening to you, it seems more like an evolution.
Yeah,
you know,
it's cathartic.
That you evolved into where you are now, where you're taking your skills and your experience and your ability to listen and be empathetic, be able to step outside of yourself and into other people's shoes, which is a skill. Being able to do that and using that now to come to this beautiful place where you're able to help many, many, many more people.
Yeah, but also, you know, to your listeners, just want to say that before you can help any person,
yes,
it starts within. It's you got to help yourself. You got to heal yourself, and healing is not a Band-Aid. It's a journey. It's something that we do every day. It's what you talk about with self-care mastery. You know, it's seeing yourself, and so this is something that you do every day. This is something, and that's the beauty of yoga. You know, before our conversation today, I was doing yoga. You start your day out in gratitude and meditation and journey through yoga, through breathing, and once you get that routine, you see you begin to change. The things that you did before no longer serve you. And I always tell my clients, you know, working with them through teacher training, doing yoga, is the person that I walked into the room in January to start teacher training is not the person that in front of them in April. Because when I tell you, I wouldn't even have thunk it that I would be going through so many different things, good and bad. But you shed the things that no longer that you need on this evolution, on this journey, right? And some of the things are so comfortable to you, but guess what? You no longer need them because you're bigger than them, and that's what you begin to realize.
And so it becomes almost this metamorphosis, you know. It is. Yes, the cocoon, the butterfly, all of that. But seeing the flower, I was in the park the other day, true story, quick story, and I literally saw an owl. Now, you know owls are nocturnal, but there are many types of owl. I saw a hawk owl, right? And so I would never, and I was walking with someone, a gentleman, and I didn't know him. We saw each other in the park, and I said, "Is that an owl?" He said, "No, it's a hawk owl. Those you could see in the daytime." But I would never have been able to see that in the tree, perched way, way up in the top, if I wasn't paying attention to my steps. Because oftentimes I take the same route, and I never even look up in the tree. But because where I am right now on this journey, not wanting to miss a thing, I am being able to see things in front of me. And the things that I no longer need to see or I don't want to see, I am taking them out of my life. And that's the scary part of being on a journey. And you're
good and bad.
Yes, and it's that mindset and that presence of mind, being present, that mindfulness. I think I hear you talking about.
Absolutely, mindfulness. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, as you're on this, again, when I say, you know, I just see it's this evolution. You have evolved, Karen, to, you know, you just evolve into that better, best, fantastic, awesome self, and we all going to profit from it. We all going to find value in it because you'll be, you know, sharing your skills, sharing what you have, sharing your mindfulness, what your mindfulness has allowed you to give to and for women. And I just think that's just so wonderful as you enter into this next chapter in your life, because I heard you say, you know, 52, you know, you're becoming 50. You know, that 50, you know, that's half a century, Karen.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it that way, you know, it does kind of make you pause for a moment.
Wow.
And I remember those days. When I turned 50, and, you know, I had to, you know, I was successful, wife, mother, career, leading community initiatives, you know, going through, you know, running the United Way, leading the United Way, first black, first woman ever in our area to do that. You know, all those kinds of things you know, count up as success, and great children and beautiful husband and all of that. But then when I did turn 50, I said, you know, it was a milestone. I did have to stop and say, now look, you know, it's been half a century. And, you know, I struggled and I tried to figure out things, and it was a process. And now at 70, looking back at it, it was an evolution. And I do believe that as we, you know, turn 20 and go into our 30s and reach the 40s and hit them milestones of 50 and 60s and become silver foxes and become real foxy.
Silver fox, Dr. Geneva.
Yes, but as we go through these at each stage, Karen, I think we are evolving.
Yes.
I think we are shedding some skin, as you said. I love that analogy. We're shedding, and we're becoming that butterfly, and it's different and exciting at every stage. But I think what's important is how we think about it, how we plan for it, what do we do with it. And it seems like you've captured and discovered some secrets in it. Because of what you're doing. And I know you came through trials and tribulations, but hey, girl, you are here. I'm loving what you're doing.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Received.
Good.
So I'm excited. I really am. And one of the things I'm really excited about this yoga practice is, one of the models I'm doing is that I've created or will be creating when I'm certified is like how they have mobile spas. It'll be mobile yoga, going to the person.
Oh, wonderful.
Or persons or the groups. Because oftentimes, especially in our community, it's something that we don't understand, Okay. We are quick to pop open a bottle of medicine or whatever when the journey is on the mat. And so how do you have to meet people where they are, which is what I constantly learn as a publicist. Maybe you have to go to them in a group.
Yes. So you're going to be taking
part of the brand.
Yes,
that's
so you're going to be taking
ministry. You know?
You're going to be taking your thing to people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, in a group setting, creating that that circle that comes from our ancestors. We did a lot of things from fundraising, foundation building in circles. Yoga is a circle, so it's completing that circle. So that's how I see it. That's how it's working in my mind. But, I'm malleable. That's the one thing about turning 50. You realize you're so malleable. And so, we'll see what the universe presents. But I am excited about this road less taken for Karen, because I've always been that person with the success, notching up the belt, this. But somehow when I turned 50, it became a different kind of thing.
Yes.
Those kind of things no longer impressed me, So it's really interesting. Everything you're saying, I have to say, ashe, I agree.
Yes. Well, Karen Taylor Bass, we are happy for you. All of us,
Thank
all
you.
of our listeners, and we'll be watching your phenomenal success, the success that you've had as you've been and are a media strategist and a brand specialist and worked with celebrities and been featured everywhere you turn around as you, evolve into your new chapter. And we're going to just say congratulations already, because we're putting it out there. What happens in June is happening now. So we'll say our congratulations now. So as you become...
Amen, Dr. Geneva.
Yes,
amen.
absolutely.
And shout out to you.
Thank you.
Shout out to you, Dr. Geneva.
Thank you.
Ignite to Impact.
Yes.
For always being on this journey and inspiring us at 70 that, yes, there are many lives to live. So I salute you, my sister, my warrior, my queen.
We love you,
Dr.
Karen.
Geneva.
We love you, Karen Taylor Bass. Thank you so much for being with us here at Ignite to Impact.
Ignite to Impact.